So hey, it's Ray from ROQ Magazine, and we are here with
Shevanee. Yes.
And we are going to be talking about her art. So Shevanee, how are you today?
I'm doing lovely. Thank you for having me.
That's good. So when did you start getting into painting?
Okay, so I fell in love with art when I was a very young age, at about 8 years old. My mother and I migrated from Jamaica, and when she first came here, she had to take me to work with her. Okay. So I used to sit there for like 8 to 12 hours, bored out of my mind. And her manager, he would feel sorry for me, and then he would bring me like canvases, pastels, crayons, coloring books. So I would sit there for hours and hours and, you know, color and draw and create things. And I fell in love with it because it would mentally take me away from somewhere that I didn't want to be.
Yeah.
So I was in control. So ever since a young age, I would use colors to help me to escape, you know, a certain type of reality. And even as an adult, I would color and coloring books. Like as a grown-ass woman, I would sit there and coloring books. And when I moved into my apartment 3 years ago, I told myself I wanted to become an artist. I would watch these things on YouTube. It's also this art page that I follow, Black Artists United, on Facebook. Make sure you guys check them out. And I would see all these female artists, and it would just encourage me. I'm like, this is really what I want to do. So I moved into my apartment and I started, and it just took off like that.
So what was like the first painting or like the first day? What was that like?
So the first painting that I did was a 4-piece Egyptian set with the Ankh, the Eye of Horus, the Key of Life, and Queen Nefertiti and King Tutankhamun. It was 4 pieces, and I really liked the Egyptian. I loved anything about Egyptian, and I wanted that 4-piece set in my living room, but it was too expensive online, so I decided to do it myself. Okay. And I went on YouTube and I just, you know, YouTube different techniques and I taught myself. It was very therapeutic and it felt really good to see, you know, my work come to life. So.
And when I met you, you were doing like a different kind of art.
Yes, I was doing candles and lamps. I still know how to, you know, I still do that, but I'm more on the putting my art on canvases.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So what would you say is like your favorite piece, or what has been your favorite piece so far?
My favorite piece that I did is a piece that I sold in my first art show. It's a really small piece, but it's just, it was a freestyle piece, and I just started with an eye in the middle of the canvas, and I would just add on to it and add on and add on and add on. It's just so much colors. That's my favorite piece. It's a really small piece, but it's just the amount of work and detail that I put into it.
So what is like your thought process? Like, say you're gonna create a new image. What are like some things that you're looking at for influences? What's influencing you?
Okay, so my art is really emotional. It's emotional for me. So every time I create something, it's something that I'm getting over. So sometimes I could just be scrolling down my timeline on social media and I see something that inspires me, and I'll probably like Google a reference image of it, and then I'll add my own, you know, my own touch to it to make it mine. Okay. But most of the times when I do paint, it's a certain type of feeling that I'm feeling that I just want to get over.
Yeah.
You know, so that's what encourages me. So I tend to have these periods.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes where I'll go for months without painting, and then sometimes, you know, I'll just have a period where I'm just doing like 6 to 8 canvases at once.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's like a therapeutic release for me.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yes.
So recently you did an art show. Can you explain a little bit about that, and if you plan on doing more in the future?
Okay, so the art show that I was featured in, this wasn't a solo show, it was a show that I was featured in Tribeca. This was my 2nd year being featured in that show. Basically, it's some curators that they get together and they reach out to different artists, and you pay for a space to display your art, and you go out and you sell your art. I sold a very big piece, my elephant piece. I sold that. I'm very excited because the first time I did that show, unfortunately I didn't sell anything, but I still gained a lot of exposure.
Yeah.
And this year that I went, I sold that elephant piece, so it was really exciting for me. And yes, I definitely will be doing that art show again. They have different shows multiple times for the year, so definitely before this year is over, I will be doing it again.
Oh, are there any, I guess, different avenues that you're thinking about going into?
Yes, actually thinking about starting school.
Okay.
School for art, just so that I could get a degree. Because when it comes on to the art world, it's a much more broader spectrum than just putting art on canvas. I can't just walk into a business and say, hey, I have talent, hire me. But I can if I have a degree, that way I'll learn how to do different things. Like say for example, a wine bottle. I could design the logo for that. I could design the logos for magazines, billboards, things that we see at the bus station, so on and so forth. So those are the type of avenues that I'm trying to go into.
What are some other things that inspire you that might not be exactly like art related? Maybe it could be like music or something like that.
Oh, definitely music. Definitely music. And I listen to a lot of music when I'm painting as well. I like to listen to like jazz and Afrocentric techno music and conscious music. Those things inspire me as well. It's like when when rappers are rapping about how they're in the kitchen cooking up, when I'm painting and I'm listening to, the jazz music, I just picture myself on stage, painting a portrait while the artist is performing.
Okay.
Yes.
So back to that. I saw the painting that you did over the $100 bills, the summertime shootout painting, but it looks like you did your own little twist.
I did. I made it neat.
Yeah. So what inspired that?
I've always loved that artwork. That's on the summertime shootout album. I've always loved it, and I told myself I wanted to do it, and I did it. When I started painting, I said I want to recreate this, but I put my own little twist to it, and I put myself. If you notice, the female has freckles as well. So yes, what inspired me is a breakup. Yeah, I can do that. That's why it's the money in the background, and you notice she's hugging the man, but he's invisible. He's just the money. So it's like all the focus is now is just my money and my future and me instead of the actual man. If that makes sense.
That makes sense to me.
Yeah.
So what are some of the things that you're working on right now?
I have a lot of things that I'm working on right now. I'm working on a two-piece butterfly wing, and I want to do a photo shoot when that's finished with myself naked, but covered up with the wings behind me.
Okay.
And the inspiration for that is evolving, because I feel like that's where I'm at in my life right now. I'm currently 32 years old, and I feel like I'm at that point where I'm no longer a caterpillar. I feel like I know what I want. I know what direction I want to go in life. I feel like I've literally grown my wings. So that's why I'm working on that piece.
Okay, that sounds good. Yes. Can you show us some of the pieces that you have now?
Yes, this is
Tell us what inspired it.
This is the coronavirus piece.
Okay.
That I made. I made this in the middle of the pandemic, and I'm an emergency medical technician, so I was working throughout the pandemic as well, and it was a really overwhelming time. So what I would do is I would purchase newspapers with the articles of the pandemic. Up here you see the nurses when they had to wear garbage bags because there was a shortage of equipment, of masks and stuff. And right here, this is one of my favorite clippings. It's De Blasio when he said, "The world as we know it is gone." And it's just very deep to look back at this,
Yeah.
And even now that we've overcome it, just still looking at it, it's still like, damn, like we really went through this.
Yeah.
We have pictures here with the empty train station. Right here, it was like a ghost town. In New York, the train stations are always crowded. So to see it empty like that, it was really a crazy time. And that's that piece that I have. And it's basically a young boy with a mask, and my vision is to put on his mask at my next. And he's going to be crying. And in the background are all the names of, some of them. I would need a wall to actually, So, it's pretty deep. I never finished it. It's kind of emotional. Yeah. And this one I have here is completed. I like to do different varieties of things. When I made this, I pictured a guy. I know a dude would probably purchase something like this and put it in his bedroom. Yeah. Because it's a sexy piece. And that's just a few of the pieces that I have.
Okay. And what would you say is next for you?
Next for me, I want to do another art show, a solo art show. And my ultimate goal with this whole art thing is to do a mural in my son's school. I would like to do a mural, encouraging children, to stop bullying, to fight bullying, just to be strong, like encouraging words of affirmations in the school.
Okay. What would you say is the experience that stands out to you in your life that mostly encouraged one of your pieces? Like that piece that you're just never gonna forget.
Let me think. I've made a lot of pieces. Let me just think of a piece that I'll never. Oh, the elephant.
The elephant, okay.
The elephant. I'll never forget.
What's the significance behind the elephant?
Okay, so I love elephants. I feel like they're very peaceful animals. Yeah. I love the way they nurture their young. The mothers, they stick with their babies. Some animals, they have the kids and then that's it. They stick with their babies. I love the fact how they're so big and powerful, but they're so gentle at the same time. And I did 2 elephants actually. The first elephant that I did was for me, for my birthday. I made it personally for myself. And I had the canvas for about 6 months. And I was working on it and it just wasn't coming out the way I wanted it to. And I gave up on it. And I just put the canvas in the back. And then one day I got up and I was in one of my moods and I decided to push through. And I came out with such a beautiful piece. And I had a client that wanted to purchase the elephant, and I told him it was for me, I can't sell that, I'll make you another one. And while making the other elephant, it didn't come out right. So I was forced to sell the client the one that I made for myself. Oh. Yes, and it really, really broke my heart. But when it comes on to being professional, it's like you go to a restaurant and you see something on the menu, that's what you want. So, they sell you something else, you're not satisfied. Yeah. So that's why I had to sell it. But I'll never forget that elephant. That piece was really, really deep to me.
And is your artwork for sale? Is there like somewhere that you can find it?
Right now, I just sell on Instagram. Okay. Yes, I'm working on a website soon and working on selling on Etsy and stuff like that. Yeah. But for right now, I just do it on Instagram.
Okay. And I guess, is there anything else that you would like to mention about like you and who you are?
Well, yeah. I love art. I strongly feel like we should find a passion in life and chase our passion because, of course we all have to work, you know what I'm saying? But I just don't want when I die, which we all have to leave this earth sometime, I just want my flesh to leave. So when my flesh leaves, my artwork will still be here and it will still live on. So I want to leave my legacy here. And I feel like in order for us to leave our legacy on earth, we have to do something besides just working for someone else. We gotta work to survive, but we also have to find some type of joy and passion. And I'm blessed to be able to say I found my passion, because some people live a full life and never find their passion. So I'm blessed to know that I found that, which is my purpose.
Yeah. And is there anything that you would like to say to someone who is like an artist, but they're like afraid to like take that leap?
You can't be afraid. You can't be afraid. You're always gonna be nervous, but you can't be afraid. But the most important thing is doing it for you. Because if you're gonna do it and wonder, like, you know, are they gonna like it? Is this person gonna like it? You know, what are people gonna say? You'll never get anywhere.
Yeah.
So the most important thing is to do it